10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is July 31st, and we've got some drama to start the episode with. So we got this amazing record-breaking smoothing block on yesterday morning. It was 253 ETH, which was pretty much, it was more than, it pretty much doubled the balance of the smoothing pool in one go, and it was the biggest block that's ever gone into the smoothing pool. It's the largest block that's ever come into the Rocket Pool ecosystem, and people were kind of like losing their minds, like what, what happened? 253.5 ETH came into the block, and people thought like it might be fake, like what's going on? But the bots were showing the amount right away, and we were all just like gobsmacked. And then letter said serious condolences to node operator 0x9FE9FFBF. So I said poor bastard. So anyway, let's have a look at what happened. So as you can see here, this is the Rocket Scan website, and you can see that the smoothing pool balance basically went vertical for that day. Yesterday, the amount was slowly climbing up really slowly, and then all of a sudden it just went vertical yesterday to the biggest ever smoothing pool balance at the end of a month, pretty much, even though we've got 2 days to go. So now this is the biggest balance we've ever had in the smoothing pool, and that's really, really cool to see. But it's pretty amazing. The 583 ETH in there now. It should actually hit 600 ETH. The previous high was 516 ETH, which happened in May, basically. At the end of May, I think it was. In the middle of May, sorry. So that was pretty amazing, right? But this is on a whole nother level, because then that was in the middle of the Pepe Mania, so people kind of were expecting big MEV amounts to come in every day for those few weeks, because gas was through the roof. But with this one now, this was totally unexpected. So what happened, right? Why did this happen? So here we got this tweet that Jasper shared. He says, caution anyone in the Curve rETH WST ETH pool. It also uses 0.2.15, the same version as the 3 other exploited pools today. Withdraw funds to be safe. So what happened? Basically, Curve, which is one of the biggest, most established DeFi ecosystems in crypto, in the Ethereum ecosystem, it was found that there were exploits in the programming language they used, Viper, for certain versions of the software. Something called a re-entry bug, where people could kind of manipulate the pools to drain the pools, basically. So there were a bunch of pools that were drained, and people were panicking like crazy, and there was a whole lot of on-chain activity happening where there were huge MEV blocks. One was for over 500 ETH, and there were a whole bunch of them that were really high numbers, and smoothing pool got one of them that was 253 ETH. So basically what happened is the hack was taking place. People were trying to make sure they got the block. Because of that, they set really high amounts as the tip, and the tip obviously goes to the person who proposes the block, and then that went to the smoothing pool. So so let's have a look what happened here. So here we had some more information. Basically, if the idea is basically that there's some one of the founders of Curve used the Curve token to get leverage against it, took out a loan on that. I think they used $240 million worth of Curve tokens to get a $100 million stablecoin loan, and then they used that to kind of live their life. And what's happened is that position is potentially under risk of being liquidated. And here Adam Cochran says that would mean you're going to get a lot of punks, apes, and other high-end assets in liquidation, which will in turn lead to their floor prices taking a hit and kicking off the next auction batch. And then here there's some information about what pools got hit. So so far JPEG, Metronome, Alchemex pools are affected, all with Viper 0.2.15 curve pools. $25 million worth got pulled in total. And it says from the curve TG, only pools that are compiler version and ETH native token are vulnerable. Just going off this rETH, WST ETH should be fine, but it seems like there were concerns about other pools too. So the standard line was, get out all your crypto, don't leave anything in any curve pool. The price of curve now is 55 cents, and it's had a rough few days. And it seems like the liquidation that I just mentioned might happen if the price reaches around 38 to 37 cents. And then I don't know what's going to happen with curve. So it's pretty scary because there will definitely be like knock-on effects for like all of Ethereum DeFi. It's all money Legos, right? Like things are linked with each other, and I feel like there might be some contagion. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen necessarily. Like, there has to be a lot to happen in the meantime for the price to get hit like that. But keep that in mind, I guess. I'm not trying to spread FUD. Sorry if it sounds like that. Okay, so Jasper had this tweet where he says, he's quoting his own tweet saying, "Holy shit, 253 ETH blocks sent to the Rocket Pool smoothing pool. The rETH holders and all smoothing pool operators are going to have a big boost from this. This is the largest ever for Rocket Pool." And then the screenshot of the block. So he says, "While this is nice for the Rocket Pool ecosystem, I want to express my deepest sympathies to the protocols that were hacked leading to this block. I'm glad this ETH is not going to go to the black hat who stole from the ecosystem, but I certainly would rather have it not happened at all." And I'm covering this tweet because I totally echo Jasper's sentiment here. And this is a horrible thing that's happened, and the ramifications for the whole of the Ethereum ecosystem could potentially be devastating. So it's horrible, and I hope that it, I wish it didn't happen, but it's happened. So what did this do to Rocket Pool? Well, right here you can see that the APR has shot up. The 7-day average has gone up to around like nearly 5.7%. And as the more of the nodes are coming online with the blue line going up, then that percentage maybe the average for 7 days will be somewhere around that amount, but the 1 day average I think was like huge. So the APR for rETH has gone vertical, and that was of course going to happen. But one of the things that's happened because of this is that it's really brought up discussions in the community about what kind of should happen with this ETH, right? So let me just talk about that for a second before I move on. So what happened is that there's this idea that, if you get this MEV block that comes to you as a proposer of that block, like what should you do with it? Should you give it back because, it was part of a hack? Should you keep it because, you had nothing to do with the hack? You did your job and you got paid for doing your job, as a tip for processing the block, processing the transactions. Like, what should you do with this? So there's been a whole big discussion that's been taking place on like crypto Twitter, even in Discord here, where people are saying that, maybe the Rocket Pool community should do something about giving this back. People said that basically everything's going to get distributed in 2 days, and there is absolutely no way to basically stop that from happening in 2 days' time. We can't move governance quickly enough to reach a consensus on what we should do, and even if we could, whether we should do it or not. So it's definitely one of those situations where it's kind of a shitty situation, but we're in a really difficult position of maybe not being able to do anything in this situation. So that, like, there's people kind of talking about that in trading. If you want to go and try to find that conversation, you can try to find that and like kind of share your opinions. I think Ethereum Bull was a person saying that we should do that, and kind of getting into a discussion earlier today, and I think a couple of other people have shared that sentiment as well. So you can go find those messages if you are curious about that. Okay, and finally we got conspiracy.eth, who came into trading, and he said, "I was off grid for a few days and came back to this. Wow, I feel emotions." So poor conspiracy.eth, it was their node that proposed the proposed the smoothing, that block, that, you know, the reward went to the smoothing pool, and then like a really classy response from them. Astanita said, was it your node? And conspiracy.eth said it was our node. So that's a really nice way of thinking about it. Like, I'm really sorry that, like, I basically, since I joined the smoothing pool, I've stopped looking at my proposals. I turned off notifications for any proposals that I get. I try my best to not look at proposals. Sometimes that's easier and other times it's harder, but I try not to look at it because nothing good will come from that. Nothing good. Like, you're in the smoothing pool, you just look at the smoothing pool amount. That's what you should look at more than anything else. But like, it would be horrible to I don't even know what I would feel like. I don't know. But anyway, conspiracy.eth took it in a really, really like great way, and I'm so sorry that they felt this. But yeah, thank you for, you know, helping us all with those rewards. They're going to be really nice this month, best ever. So yeah. Okay, moving on from that, we got this post from Langus today saying, hey everyone, following the successful vote for Rocket Pool Improvement Proposal RPIP 25, and then there's a vote linked to the snapshot, by the protocol DAO, PDAO, we will adjust the shares of the RPL inflation shortly. This will result in changes to the amount of new RPL each DAO receives, and it will take effect starting from the upcoming rewards period. So the protocol DAO was previously receiving 15% of inflation. It will now receive 22% of inflation. The Oracle DAO was previously receiving 15% of inflation. It will now receive 8% of inflation, and the node operators were previously receiving 70% of inflation, and that will remain the same. However, over the next year, the protocol DAO that amount that they're getting will climb up to 28.5%, and the Oracle DAO's amount will go down from 15% to 1.5%. Node operators' amount will stay the same. Then Langus here says, in the following months, we'll proceed with the additional changes to implement the schedule outlined in RPIP 25, leading to a gradual reduction in payments to the oDAO. Your continued support and active participation are vital as we build a stronger and more decentralized future for Rocket Pool. So this was really nice message from Langus. You know, they kind of said that they wanted to see it change in Atlas and how that was going to work before they talked about it, before they did it on mainnet. So of course, you know, the next rewards period is in a couple of days time, so it makes sense that they will do that now. And of course, you know, the team has the PDAO guardianship wallet, so they're able to make these changes. And what we should keep in mind is that, you know, the team, we're actively working on changing how the PDAO guardianship works, and it's going to go on to on-chain voting, hopefully in the Saturn upgrade, which will be amazing for everyone. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Like, you know, Langus and the team are able to change the settings now, but going, you know, in a few months' time going forward, that will be the community doing that directly instead of the team doing that. Okay, next we've got a whole bunch of updates from the GMC. So I'm going to share those. So here there's a GMC administrator position. So I've talked about this position on Rocket Fuel a couple of times. Schifrin currently holds this position as like an interim measure, like a short-term hire. So one of their jobs of the administrator was to formalize this position and open it for applications to the community. So it says GMC administrator position, apply from August 4th to August 11th. Schifrin says, in anticipation of RPIP 26 likely passage, that is almost definitely going to pass. Actually, let's have a quick look at that. Sorry, I should have had this open before. And of course, now my computer decides to be slow. Actually, let me just open that in a new tab. And let's go back here. So, in anticipation of RPIP 26 likely passage, preparations are underway to open a 7-day application window for the GMC administrator position. To ensure interested applicants have adequate time to prepare the submissions, we are promptly posting the job description and application details. To apply, interested candidates are invited to respond to this post with their applications from August 4th, 2023, 4:40 AM UTC until August 11th, 2023, 4:40 AM UTC. So here, the position overview says the GMC administrator serves as the primary facilitator of the GMC's operations. This is a part-time position with an expected time commitment of around 3 hours a day. The time commitment per day can greatly vary, ranging from under 2 hours on slower days to over 4 hours on busier days. So there have been days where I know that like Schifrin's work like 5-6 hours, over the last couple of weeks, per day, I mean, when we're in the active process of getting the rewards processed and trying to get those decided on and applications decided on. So it's quite busy. So there's going to be some new responsibilities now to this position, such as meeting coordinator, scheduler, awards facilitator, spokesperson for the GMC, grants and bounties liaison, treasurer, and governance author for the GMC as well. So the compensation and benefits, this position will offer a monthly payment of $3,750 in RPL, paid regularly over a span of 12 months. The proposed compensation is loosely based on grants and bounties liaison, 1 hour a day, meeting coordinator, 1 hour a day, and that meeting coordinator, scheduler, spokesperson, accountant, governance author, etc., and then awards facilitator, 1 hour a day. And then there's a transition and renewal of administrators' terms. There's the information how that would work, leave and time off. There's some information in there as well, and then there's information how you can apply. So it says, to apply for this position, please provide an application statement in response to this post. As you prepare your application statement for the GMC administrator role, we kindly request that you begin by introducing yourself. Please provide your Discord username and brief overview of your background or current professional position. In your application statement, we would like to address your suitability for the GMC administrator role, explain why you believe you are well suited for this position, highlighting specific skills, qualifications, attributes that align with the job responsibilities. And then there's more information there. And then it says that the GMC looks forward to reviewing everyone's application. If our paper 26 passes, applications will be accepted for a period of 7 days. And then that the information there, and it says, please note some of the finer details, including the compensation amount, are subject to final approval by the GMC between now and the start of the application window. And then here, this is really cool to see. We'll pass this along to some other governance folks looking to get involved. One recommendation, might make sense to add something about GitHub management to the responsibilities. At the very least, I would expect this person to be making pull requests to keep track of historic GMC membership, and might also advocate for them to be responsible for increasing the GMC's information that can be found in the RPIPs for transparency and documentation. So Shifrin says that's a good idea. I've added this under governance author, managing GMC roster and awards data in GitHub. The awards data is currently under review, development in GitHub. So there's a lot of information there. If you are all interested in applying for this position, please be aware that there's a 1 week window. So get everything ready so you can post a reply to this thread, the link of which is in the description, and get ready to apply. Like I said, Shifrin is the person who's currently working this position, and that's all I want to say about that. So next we had this other news where AnySubterra.eth joins the GMC, and then Shifrin here says, we are thrilled to announce that AnySubterra has joined the GMC. This change to our team comes as Kevster has requested to step down from his position due to personal reasons. As we bid farewell to Kevster, we express our gratitude for the valuable contributions made during Kevster's tenure, and we understand and respect the decision to prioritize personal well-being, and our thoughts are with Kevster during this time. In accordance with RPIP 10, it says, if a vacancy occurs within 6 months of the previous election, the next highest vote recipient from the previous election shall be offered the seat, with the management committee going down the list of vote receiving nominees until the position is filled. The offered seat should be accepted or rejected within 1 week. If it is rejected or there is no other response, the GMC should continue down the list. And then it says, we extend a warm welcome to AnySubterra and accept our gratitude for accepting this position. And then process congrats, and made a pull request link to reflect the change in GitHub in anticipation of it being helpful. And then it says, if this adds more work, please let me know. We were just discussing Valdov's last update to the formation with Long for Wisdom, so it's fresh in our mind. So thanks for that, Pros 11. But yeah, welcome to Annie. It's a shame that Kev had to step down. I'm really sorry to see that. I hope Kev is doing okay. Welcome Annie. I guess Annie will be up and ready for the next rewards period. Annie joined a little bit too late in the cycle for her to really take part in this rewards period. But we're really sending out a warm welcome to Annie, and it's going to be great working with her in the GMC. Okay, and finally we have this update from Schifrin again, who is showing the GMC Treasury update, saying, hello everyone, I have a GMC Treasury update, the first one since March. I apologize for the delay as I hadn't been officially onboarded. I had to piece together the accounting and treasury process to bring you this update. Moving forward, and I will ensure the GMC administrator is committed to posting these updates on or around the last day of each month. And it says here's a link to the treasury sheet, and there's a link to a Google Doc. And it says the headline numbers for the GMC's activity in July are as follows. And it says July 1st, 2023, the funds at the start were 57,107 RPL. The amount that came in was 3,285 RPL. The amount that went out of the GMC was 186 RPL. And the funds available at the end of the July are 60,207 RPL. Currently, committed future funds as of the first of the month are 7,832 RPL. So even with all the funds that have been committed to go out by the GMC, we've still got over 50,000 RPL in the bank, which at current prices is over $1.5 million. So we're managing a nice amount of money. So GMC is doing pretty well. Okay, and then final update from the GMC here is that, right here at the bottom of the page, it says, Schifrin says the awards announcement will go out tomorrow. The hack of the Rocket Pool Discord a few weeks ago broke some of the committee members' roles and access to our discussion channels. So it's kind of caused a tiny bit of a delay in things. But we're hoping that everything will be done very soon and out for all the community to see tomorrow. So that's really, really great. Okay, next, I just want to send out congratulations to Joe here, who just produced his 100th Proteus, which is a phenomenal landmark. Joe's been doing such great work of getting the Proteus into Rocket Pool community members' hands, and even people who aren't using it for Rocket Pool, which is really cool, like Anthony Sassano, who's using it to like solo stake on that machine. But it's really wonderful that Joe's produced 100 of these now. There was some talk in trading yesterday about how competitors like Avado are kind of advertising in bad faith, charging ridiculous prices for hardware that can perform better than what they're saying, and how they're kind of like exploiting naive stakers. And that's just like some of the discussion that was taking place in trading yesterday. They're charging like $2,000 for a staking machine, which comes with their software, granted, but their software, as we know, has had a bunch of issues. But Joe was joking that maybe he should raise his prices, and a whole lot of people in trading was saying that, with the Avado information in mind, it would only make sense to do that. So, yeah. Okay, next we had this update from Kent, which is normally it is Val who updates these, but maybe Kent is taking over from Val at the moment. I'm not sure what the situation is, but Kent updated this Rocket Pool DeFi sheet and kind of mentioned that he had updated it. So I thought it'd be nice to check in and see what the numbers are looking like at the moment. So holding rETH is around 3.3%, or it's a 4.4% post-merge average, with Gamma on mainnet on the rETH pair you can get about 13%, PancakeSwap 5.8%, Beethoven you get 3.2% min, or 4.8% max. On Balancer rETH Aave position you get 7.1% minimum or 15% pretty much max. Balancer rETH LP position you get 9.1 on ZKEVM, and then it says higher risk strategies below, sufficient additional risks such as impermanence loss. And then there is the rETH RPL position here, which has about 6.3% rewards. And then there is a Balancer rETH Badger liquidity position, which has 24% rewards. So it says this document is maintained by volunteer community members. If you'd like to contribute, please DM Kent Philly in Discord or by email at stakerocketpool@gmail.com. The original visionary for this resource is Val in Discord. To be a maintainer, you need a Google account that we can add to the document, which will be visible as an editor to anyone who cares to look. So this received a grant. I'm not sure what the status of the grant for this project is actually, because it was in the first round, and I don't know if they got it as an ongoing grant. But anyway, they got a grant, and I guess Kent has taken over from Val for updating this document every 2 weeks. So definitely go and check out if you are interested in using your rETH or maybe even RPL in any kind of DeFi, because there's a whole lot of information here about all the different protocols that use rETH and how you can use it and what the rewards are like. So this is an amazing document and it's updated every 2 weeks. So the information is mostly up to date, and yeah, there's some really good stuff there. Okay, talking about DeFi, here we had this update from Synthetix, who said as of this morning, Synthetix has unpaused 8 new perp markets. Front ends like Quenta and Polynomial Phi can now offer the following, and one of those is RPL. So what it means to unlock perps for RPL is that you can now use synthetic versions of RPL to do long and short trades for this. This is new future markets coming later this week. So this is on Optimism, of course. Synthetix migrated to Optimism a little while ago, and they're growing and they're going from strength to strength. So this is really cool. Some people in the community were a little bit worried that people could use this to short RPL, and there's some worries that the RPL price is kind of weak right now, so shorting might really hurt. But here, the more DeFi integrations we get with RPL, the better it is. However, one thing to remember is that this is a synthetic RPL, not actual physical RPL. Like there's not, the tokens itself aren't involved, so it's kind of like speculating on the price. I don't fully understand how perps works, so definitely pop by in trading, where some of the more DeFi literate members of the Rocket Pool community will be happy to explain what this means. But the thing that I'm happy about is that we're getting more uses now for the RPL token, and the more uses we get for it, the better it is. Okay, next we have this comment from Ali saying, hello, we would love to collab with Rocket Pool. Could I open a ticket here? So Ali basically works with something called REYIELD and wants to start a partnership. And Maverick says you can DM me to discuss. So as you all know, the information tends to stop at that point, but it's nice to keep. Yeah, so here's the information. Look, the REYIELD finance community manager, and I don't know what script this is, so I can't really comment more on that. But this is nice. I always like covering like these conversations and try to follow the thread of them as the weeks and months go on. So I'll definitely keep an eye out for REYIELD Finance and see what they're doing. Okay, next we got this update from the TWAMM people who did the Nouns swap for their 500 rETH from WST ETH, I think, or ETH. So it says, happy TWAMM day. To celebrate, let's talk about the Nouns DAO treasury diversification trade we executed last week on our protocol. In this thread, we'll cover the reasons to use TWAMM and explain how the trader and arbitrageurs and LPs performed. So he says, a quick note on the 500 WST ETH, around $1 million trade was a trial to test out the efficacy of the system. Although the size could have been executed instantly on DEXs, the follow-up trade for the extra 7,000 WST ETH, around $15 million, is where DEXs fall apart and TWAMM shines. So this is kind of like they're trying to answer some of the questions that I've been asking about why use this TWAMM system. Even with 7,000 WST ETH, I think that could be absorbed quite easily, but it seems like they're kind of like making their case here. So it says they're going to explain about how it works and how what the difference was and how did it all work out. And I think now that trade is through, they'll be presenting this information to the Nouns DAO, and I think they'll be using this to make a proposal for the next 7,000 WST ETH. So it says we'll be executing larger $50 million trade in the upcoming weeks. You can add liquidity to that trade here. Also, there's a great more details on Nouns DAO trial trade in our blog post. So then there's a link to the blog post. I thought I needed an additional proposal, but the way that it's explained here, that might not be the case. But I'll definitely be following the story and sharing the information with you when we get more details on this. Okay, next we had this thread from Raft, who are integrating rETH. So it says, "Good morning, Rocketeers. The RUSD stablecoin is ready for are you ready for LSDFi?" So that's kind of like the hashtag that we're getting this wave of LST integrations that are coming into DeFi. And it says, "Put your rETH to work, join the Raft." So this goes on to explain about like what a Raft is. So LSDFi is the talk of the town, and today we're looking at over collateralized lending protocols with 0% reoccurring interest rates. This concept was initially envisaged by Liquidity Protocol, a fully immutable lending protocol using ETH as the only collateral, while the single collateral approach and the blah blah blah. So it's kind of like, from the way that I understand it, is kind of like an alternative to Gravita. And even here it says, Gravita protocol originated from the Rocket Pool community and currently supports blah blah blah. As collateral types and issues grow, the most innovative feature is a pro rata fee refund for short-term borrowers. And it says Raft initially supported WST ETH as collateral and issues the R stablecoin. On June 27th, they launched their rETH integration. So it's like giving good information. So it says, while Gravita was able to attract $11 million in rETH collateral to this date, Raft is lagging with only 324,000. This is particularly interesting because when it comes to TVL across all collateral types, Raft has double the TVL of Gravita. And he says, for the Rocketeers out there, I'd like to root for Raft adoption as a great alternative to Gravita and a good opportunity to diversify your LSDFi positions. So I've talked about Gravita on Rocket Fuel a whole bunch. So here I am giving Raft a shout out. I've never used Raft. I've never interacted with Raft in any way. So I'm not like necessarily endorsing it, but I'm just letting you all know that it's an option if you want to use it. Okay, next we are I'm going to kind of very briefly cover this discussion that Jasper started in trading and kind of made a thread about it. So Jasper said that ignoring the dumb restaking part, basically what Jasper proposed here is that when EigenLayer launched their node operator part of their protocol, what we could do for Rocket Pool is basically let node operators use RPL as a collateral for their nodes to use EigenLayer. Now, the reason why this discussion even came up was because there's this idea that the Rocket Pool collateral that node operators provide is already doing a lot of heavy lifting in securing the borrowed ETH, right? Like the people who, the rETH holders who deposit their ETH, this is kind of like a fine-tuned balance of like collateral that is used really efficiently in terms of like risk-reward benefits analysis. By having a secondary use of that collateral from node operator, it would kind of skew it into the favor of the node operator and away from rETH holders, which people in the community think that is not justifiable with kind of like, the agreement that exists between rETH holders and node operators. So by adding, slashing conditions from EigenLayer onto that, it might be that it kind of skews things in a way that's not desirable. So Rocket Pool shouldn't integrate EigenLayer. That's like a very high level kind of understanding of what that position is. So Jasper's idea is that instead of letting node operators use their ETH as collateral for EigenLayer, what they could potentially do is use their RPL as collateral for EigenLayer. And then there's all these discussions that come up, like who has senior debt, who gets first call on any issues that happen, and all that kind of stuff. So you can go and follow this discussion. Jasper here then ended up making a separate thread about EigenLayer and like using RPL for it. So there's not too much in this conversation, but I thought I'd cover it because it might be worth some people like sharing their ideas. And Noshra says, why do you think it's possible for Rocket Pool to do this? Wouldn't it be up to EigenLayer to use RPL as collateral for other services? And then Jasper says, it may require changes to their end to accommodate RPL. If so, depending on what needs to be changed, we may be able to get them to accommodate. They already encourage dual token staking their suggesting tokenomics, so it seems they're in their wheelhouse to support this. It would be up to other services then to say whether or not they'd accept RPL collateral nodes or only pure ETH nodes or the restaked LST nodes. So yeah, this discussion kind of like has fizzled out there a couple of days ago, but I wanted to cover it because I feel it might be worth following for some of our Rocket Fuel listeners. Okay, and finally today there was a case that came out in the US where a guidance that came out from the IRS about how you should treat income, like your staking rewards, and the idea was that it should be treated as income. Now this, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because there is this idea, there was a separate case where from Tezos staking where the argument made was that staking rewards should be treated as like gold mining or crop harvesting, where you only pay tax when you sell the item that you harvested, I guess, instead of using it as income and taxing it that way. But here the IRS says if cash method taxpayer stakes cryptocurrency native to proof of stake blockchain and receives additional units of cryptocurrency as rewards when validation occurs, the fair market value of the validation rewards received is included in the taxpayer's gross income in the taxable year in which the taxpayer gains dominion and control over the validation awards. The fair market value is determined as of the blah blah blah, as of the date. So as of the date you get the reward. So one of the key things to mention here is about when the taxpayer gains dominion and control over the validation rewards. So one of the things for Ethereum, of course, was that people were gaining rewards, but they didn't have dominion over them until the merge. So for the 2022 taxes, that makes things interesting. But I think this is still an active discussion, and although the IRS would like it to be treated as income, it might be that the courts disagree with that and say that it should be treated as like harvesting crops, where you only pay taxes once you sell, not when you take the yield of that crop. That's the last story that I'm covering for this weekend. However, the vote page doesn't want to load, so sorry I can't cover that for you all. Actually, maybe I can go to trading and show you, because there's bot that Invis made here. Let me see. Votes. I think, yeah, votes. So, so the current GMC vote that is under process has reached over quorum. It's 97% in favor, 2% against, and 1% of voters are abstaining. So, there's 3 days and 1 hour left in that vote as well. So, it's almost definitely going to pass. So, good stuff. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. Thank you for watching, listening, and being part of this Rocket Fuel community. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.